All right, welcome back to the channel. I am Demarius Jackson. Welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. This is Jazz Improv Basics, and today we're going to go over something a little off to the side, a little side topic, and we're going to cover woodwind doubling, specifically today the flute. Now, why do I say Jazz Improv Basics and the flute? Well, I initially got into playing the other woodwinds other than saxophone as my background because I was in jazz band or jazz ensemble. I sat usually lead alto or second alto, whatever it is I was playing at the time. And a lot of parts had those flute parts in there, and they had some clarinet, and I had no clue what I was doing. Not to mention the fact that my undergrad, my professor that taught me saxophone actually has his doctorate in multiple woodwinds from UNT. So he was a really, really strong advocate in playing multiple woodwinds, not just saxophone. And I really grew to love it. Aside from the jazz, I actually really enjoy musical theater. So I'm going to start a series with woodwind doubling tips, and we'll section it off by instrument. Today we're going to be talking about the flute. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things that really helped my development in playing the flute. I initially started and I sucked. It was really bad. I had no tone. When I got a glimpse of a tone, I was really airy and I felt like I was going to pass out. I gave it up for a couple of years. I ended up joining the Marine Corps, like I said before, and I had to play a gig where I was playing lead alto, a lot of hard-hitting tunes. And at the very end, we do a piece called Stars and Stripes Forever. If you're not familiar with that piece, it's a piccolo solo at the end. And they knew that I doubled a little bit. Secretly, I never played piccolo. And so they asked me if I could play, and of course, like every good musician, I was like, sure, I can, and knew full well I couldn't. So I practiced this part, got it worked up, and we played 20 tunes, big band tunes, got to the last one, played Stars and Stripes. Obviously, this is not a piccolo, but I had my piccolo in hand, and all you heard was air. It was nothing at the dress rehearsal, luckily. So I ended up transcribing and playing on soprano sax. It was very embarrassing. And so that's when I decided to make a change and really get dedicated about playing the flute. So the number one thing you can do try to get your doubles down is go take lessons, honestly, with the actual person. They'll be able to guide you and probably specifically tell you exactly what you need to do. Unfortunately, I was in an area where there weren't a lot of teachers around, and I didn't really have an opportunity to go out. So I got some tips from a couple of friends and mentors and colleagues. The number one tip was I left my flute out on the stand at my house. And every commercial break, I would just play it. And that's honestly how you'll get better at stuff, is just trying stuff, trying new things if it's not working for you and going for it. Obviously, there's really specific things, most notably long tones on middle B that helped me out. But other than that, number one was having it out. There were a couple of books, though, I will say that were really influential and got me along my way. I have them here. Hopefully I pronounced them correctly. This is the Tafanel Gobert. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I actually got this book at the New England Conservatory of Music. I'll have a link below in the description where you can find it on Amazon or someplace. But you don't have to get this. I have a hard copy. It has a lot of exercises in there. I use a couple of specific ones, which I'll talk about here in a second. And there's a much cheaper version than this. This one was like 60 bucks. But I wouldn't give it up for the world. The Tafanel Gobert, most notably, exercise number one. It sounds a little like this. I'll play a snippet. Hopefully this comes out. All right. That's just a little bit snippet of it. Now, the reason that helped me out, once I actually got some tone down, and we'll talk about that in another video, it's all about technique and playing the flute like a flute player. If you don't know, right, we have our middle D here with our finger up, and we have to transition from here to E, and this pinky has to go down. And me coming from the saxophone, that was very awkward. Playing that exercise, getting that motion down. I said E flat, you get the deal, from D to E. Getting that motion down very slowly. Once again, I did not start. I mean, I'm talking, I was right about. and probably even slower than that. But getting used to that motion, and also as well, not doing the saxophone thing. Please don't do this if you're a saxophone player playing flute and playing F sharp correctly, not like we would do it on saxophone with our third finger right hand. Getting little things like that down, it makes all the world of a difference, honestly, as you get on and you're playing. And there's a bunch of great exercises in there, but that's exercise number one. And you can take that, there's like 10 different variations as far as articulations are concerned, and you can go through the book and learn that. The other thing that helped me out with just tone-wise, and it sounds like so elementary, and I don't know why I didn't do this from the beginning, but it's the same thing that we do on saxophone. It's playing, obviously the long tones, but playing overtones. I know me personally, I'm still working on it to this day. When I play flute up in the upper register, I have the hardest time, and it's so apparent on musical theater like tunes, playing softly at in the upper register. So one of the things that I will work on is just playing my overtones and trying to play them as soft as possible. So I'll do D here, and hopefully we can get this done. It's my first time playing flute today. And I would sit there and kind of drill those long tones. I would hold them, for the sake of this video, obviously I would hold them much, much longer and try to almost diminuendo and decrescendo throughout those long tones and get them really, really perfected, and working on the aperture sensitivity and really trying to hone in on what I need to do to get those notes quietly. That way when I'm matching it and playing the actual fingering for the high note that matches the overtone, I have more of a chance of getting a nice crystal clear sound and being able to control the dynamics. Alright, so that's the second thing I did. And then also in the Taffanel Gobert, I believe I have it marked here. It's exercise number 11. I'll show it up to the book like this. Alright, and a teacher recommended this to me, a good mentor of mine, just because I would have issues with octave leaps. Alright, and I'll put it up here, try not to be awkward. Oh, I should have thought this through. I'll throw that to the side. So we're going to put it up here, and I'll try to play a little clip of it, and then you can kind of get a sense for what the exercise is. This is going to be very short. And it goes through different variations of chords. This is a nice little thing to figure out what the chords are for. But it goes through the chords, and what it's working on are those octave leaps and the sensitivity of your aperture and what you need to do with jaw motion, if you will, in order to get those higher notes to come out. All right, so those are just a couple of flute tips for you. I have many, many more. But yes, like I said, the Taffanel Gobert, this is very crucial in my development. I still use it. I literally play it every single day. I played it every single day when I was in those formative years, if you will. I will say another one. I had this book. I honestly didn't play out this one too much. This is, I'm probably saying all these names all wrong. Andre Marquardt. There we go. Hopefully I'll hold it up. This is Daily Exercises for the Flute. This is actually my very first flute book that I ever got. And basically they were just skill exercises, daily exercises. Honestly, this is a good book, but I honestly probably recommend the Taffanel Gobert more. And then lastly, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Trevor Y. Practice Books for Flute. So he has a series of books. It looks like it goes from 1 to 5. Tone, technique, articulation, intonation, and vibrato. I happen to have it all in one, but he sells the books separately. But the number one thing I worked out of is book 1 is tone, and there's a lot of exercises that you can do. Once again, playing a B, making it the longest note on the instrument, and just getting a very beautiful tone on there as much as you can. And carrying the beauty of that tone from one note to the next. All right, so there you go. Very first episode in this series, Woodwind Doubling Tips, the flute. Gotta love it. I used to hate it. I've grown to love it. I even play a little piccolo now. I will probably practice the Stars and Stripes solo after this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, leave me a comment down below, subscribe if you like to see more tips, and until next time, happy practicing.